You overindulged on those Christmas cookies, and now it's time to pay the piper. You're looking to get an effective, affordable, and compact rowing machine to destroy that dad bod. The No Fate channel checking in. Jonathan here to dissect whether this WM10 Tri-Fold rower is the best water rower in 2025. We're gonna unravel that mystery and a whole lot more. There is no better way to improve your heart health and kill calories at the same time than using a rowing machine. And you, my friend, are in luck because in 2025,
embarrassment of riches, as they say.
I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of different rowing machine options and from different companies of all makes, models, sizes, strengths, and of course, price. Before we crack on with this WM10 Tri-Fold water rower, we're gonna talk about the differences between a water rower and your traditional air rowers, like the Concept 2 or even the Rogue. There are two main reasons that you would choose a water rower over your traditional air rower like the Concept 2 or the Rogue. Number one, of course, is aesthetics. For many of you, you are placing your cardio equipment in your condo, in your home, where your guests and you have to look at it. And when you look at the Concept 2 and a lot of the other similar models, you'll see that they just look black, they look kind of plastic, they look kind of cheap, and to be honest with you, at the end of the day, they're not aesthetic, they're not eye-catching, it's more function than fashion. Well, look no further. This thing is beautiful. It looks prim, it looks proper, it looks antique-ish, but it functions really well. And the second thing that you would choose this over a Concept 2 air rower is that the noise on this is a lot lower. Typically, those Concept 2 air rowers, especially when you're cranking away at them, can get kind of loud, can get kind of almost whiny in terms of the noise they make. This is more of a soothing motion. Even when you're going super fast and you're just kind of like getting after it, you're gonna notice that it doesn't get that loud. And quite frankly, it's almost like being at the beach on a fairly calm day. Just 10 seconds to give you the basics when it comes to the WM10 Tri-Fold water rower from Kingsmith. Number one, it comes in $900 with free shipping. Also, it has two beautiful colors, and you get not only the water resistance, but you get 32 different magnetic resistances, giving you a maximum resistance of 110 pounds if you go all the way up. I've been using this thing for 3 weeks now, and it has reminded me how much I really missed having a rowing machine in my home gym. I'm gonna tell you the benefits in terms of the pros, and then we're gonna kind of go over some of the cons, some of the detractors, not necessarily deal breakers, but of course I want you to go into any purchase with your eyes wide open. So as far as the pros, I already mentioned, this thing looks fantastic. I mean, this thing is gonna blow any other air rower out of the water in terms of aesthetics if you have to have this stored in your home gym that other people might be seeing, or just you wanna have something that looks nice in your home gym, you go with this. The other benefit is extremely quiet. I was absolutely gassed at how quiet this thing is. Even when I tried to go all out and kind of make it sound loud, it never did. We know in any home gym that, hey, space is always an issue. Whether you've got a massive home and a massive home gym, or you're just lifting and working out of a spare bedroom, you know that space is at a premium and it needs to be maximized. Well, this thing is a Tri-Fold patented rower, meaning you can just hit a couple of buttons and boom, you are gonna have this thing stored up almost in a cube, and it's gonna have a footprint of 27 by 20 inches. And it comes with a handle and two front wheels, allowing you to row this into and out of any corner of your home so that you can easily have it stored out of the way, out of sight, and out of mind when it's not being used. And you could just roll it back in, set it up. The process itself takes probably 30 seconds or less, and Bob's your uncle. Now, one thing that I absolutely love, but kind of caught me by surprise, were the foot straps. Now, my major experience when it comes to rowers is with the Concept 2. It's been around for quite some time, and it's in most local gyms. Unfortunately, those foot straps, you tighten them down, and as you're going, especially if you're going for a long distance, you'll find that they loosen up. So the tightening down process is annoying, then they loosen up, and then they're a pain to get out of when you're all done and you're exhausted. These little Velcro straps with these rings make it easy to lock your feet down. And the best part is that they don't loosen over time. The longer you go on here, you're still locked in thanks to that Velcro. As far as the foot placement, I really liked how they have this set up. Plenty of room for if I wanted to get my feet a little bit lower than my hips. I will tell you that a lot of the budget rowers that I've seen, or at least a few that I've tested, have the feet a little too high up, a little too close to the seat itself, making it difficult for you to kind of fold your legs and lean in your body when you're going for a complete stroke. Now, one thing we never think of when it comes to making our purchasing decision is, where are we going to store our phone or our tablet? But if you're on here for 20 minutes to an hour, you're going to want to have something to look at besides a wall. And they do have a tablet and phone holder here that works very well. Also, if you want, you can download the app that comes with purchase, and you can use that in order to access workout programs related to the WM10 water rower. Now, a lot of times we see fit influencers that get products for free in order to do an honest review. And as the viewer of said content, we take it with a grain of salt that these reviews are never honest, that the person is financially motivated to tell you how great, how wonderful, how perfect this rower is. And you know, on this channel, if you've been subscribed for a while, just click that subscription button down below. You'll find out that I do honest reviews, and I always give you all of the issues, whether they are deal breakers or whether they are minor, so you know what you're getting into. Now, one main problem, one issue when it comes to a water rower is the water aspect. Obviously, we love that wave crashing motion that just sounds so nice. But you got to fill this thing up with water, and you want to prevent it from getting nasty. So you want to use distilled water, and in some cases you could even put in almost like pool cleaning chemicals in there to keep it lasting longer. But eventually, over time, 3 weeks, a month, you're going to have to empty that water, take it all out in order to clean it and refill it in order for it not to get like a funky bacteria smell going in. The other issue with this WM10 is that you need power. That's right, you need to have an outlet near your location. And when it comes to a lot of the competition, like the Concept 2, which is probably the best known out there, wind resistance, you'll find that unfortunately, you don't need any power. You can set that up anywhere. And the cord they give you is pretty small, so you either have to run an extension cord or you're going to be limited to where you can put this. Now, also when it comes to that water tank, this tank is on the smaller side compared to much of the competition, meaning you're not going to get as much resistance as you might when it comes to some of the others. I personally think the water resistance with the magnetic resistance at 110 pounds was plenty for me. I jacked this thing all the way up, filled the water all the way up, and I still felt like I didn't want to go any harder. Now, if you're an absolute marathon, triathlete, super rower, you may find that it's not enough resistance for you. And if you want to adjust the water in terms of adding or removing more resistance through the water, again, you're going to have to add or remove water. Now, one minor issue, and this kind of befalls many of the rowers out there, is that the seat is relatively low. Now, if you're an able-bodied individual, getting on, getting off this thing is not going to be an issue. I'm 43, 6'1", popped on, popped off, no problem. But if you have mobility issues, that's gonna be an issue, pardon the pun, only because getting down and getting up from such a low situation is going to be concerning. Now, I know a lot of the rowers out there, again, have this same issue, so you are going to have to find a specialized rower if that happens to be you, one with a higher seat that you can sit down on much more comfortably. Now, one issue that they absolutely fixed on this new model is the handle. The previous version had a handle that was straight and it was short. It was junk. This one's actually angled, giving you a bit more of a neutral grip on your wrist, and it is much longer, allowing you to put your hands as wide as you really want and not feel like you're all bunched up in the front. Now, one of the positives when it comes to the WM10 is also a negative. It is really compact. Not only does it store in a 27 by 20 footprint, but even when it is fully laid out, it's not that long compared to your typical, again, Concept 2 rower. I will say at 6'1", I was able to get a full stroke, extend my legs, and not feel like I was hitting the back end. However, if you happen to be on the taller side, like 6'4" or 6'5", that may be a big concern. Now, one pro and one con is this absolutely gorgeous tactile dial that allows you to dial in the resistance and as well as give you a complete informational readout. Unfortunately, the location is below your hands so that your knees, your legs, and your arms are going to be 100% in the way of seeing how far you've gone or how long you've been rowing. Typical on a wind rower like the Concept 2, you'll find that the screen is up here. It's not as nice, it's not as pretty, and it's not really anything to write home about, but it gives you the useful information that you're looking for, and it's hard to miss. One thing that is a bit smoke and mirrors when it comes to the Kingsmith WM10 is their return policy as well as their warranty. You've got 30 days to use it, abuse it, and return it. You also have a 1-year full warranty to make sure that this thing is going to last. However, if you read the fine print, you are responsible for paying shipping, which they estimate to cost between $100 and $120. So that's kind of like a big kind of hit on the wallet if you get this in and realize that it's just not right for you. Now, the last major issue and probably the biggest of concern for you is near and dear to my heart, and that is the cost. That's right. This comes in at $900. It does have free shipping. Unfortunately, when you look at the competition, whether you go on Amazon and you just Google water rowing machines, you're going to find that that's on the high side. Not that I don't think that it's warranted, but it is going to be a bit pricey. Now, when you compare it to Rogue's brand new wind rower, or you compare it to a new Concept 2 rower, you're going to find that it's pretty darn close. Now, I think the Concept 2 is probably going to cost you a bit more. I think $900 is right in line with what the Rogue costs as of today. But keep in mind, at that price point, it is pretty hard to choose this one over some of the more premium competition. And now it's time. It is time for my final thoughts on the WM10 Kingsmith water rower. And at the end of the day, if you're looking for a water rower for your home, especially one that is going to be compact, this one's got to be on your short list. This one is premium in terms of the aesthetics, in terms of the function, and in terms of the resistance. I will ultimately say, if you happen to have more money and more space, I would absolutely go with a wind resistant rower. They are tried and true, especially the Concept 2. Even the Rogue one, which came out this year, is talked about in high regard. Now, they are going to be a bit more noisy. They're going to probably cost you just a little bit more money, but they're going to come with a much better warranty and probably hold up a lot better over time. And probably the biggest of all the issues that I mentioned is if you go with the wind rower, you don't have to deal with the water headache of adding it, removing it. If you want more resistance, you put more in. If you want less, you take some out. If it's been 3 or 4 weeks, you got to go in and clean it all out. And that can be a bit of a nuisance and a bit of a drag time and time again, especially when a lot of us just want to hop on our cardio equipment, which we don't want to use anyway, but we know we need to and should to keep that dad bod at bay, and we just want to go. We just want it to work. We just want it to be there. If you found this video entertaining, then definitely hit that subscribe button. But more importantly, most importantly, watch one of these 2 videos next. As usual, thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back.